It's week 9. Are you guys ready? I'm Lionel Vitel. Welcome to Top 10. My top 10 for this week. Number 10, the Buffalo Bills. Now listen, the Buffalo Bills are starting to lose too many games. Too many losses. What did they have? 4 losses? Come on. They're in my top 10. They're my number 10. And they almost was kicked out of the top 10 this week. Buffalo is number 10. Had a big loss in Cincinnati. Buffalo stayed at number 10. Number 9 this week, the Jacksonville Jaguars had a bye week. Listen, Jacksonville, they're stacking wins. They're starting to win, 5 in a row? So Jacksonville's number 9 this week. The Jacksonville Jaguars keep it up. My number 8 this week, the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas stays in the top 10, had a big game in Philadelphia. Dallas is feeling good about themselves. Came out of that with a pretty good game, almost won it. But I looked at the schedule with the Cowboys. Weak schedule, man. They've played a weak schedule so far. You got to win a big game. You got to win a big game going down the stretch, heading toward the playoffs. But Dallas is my number 8. Number 7. My number 7 team this week is the Miami Dolphins. Now, Miami is another team that had a bunch of soft wins. They go into Frankfurt and they play against Kansas City. They struggle. Didn't look good at all, but they stay in my top 10. They're beating a bunch of bad teams too. Miami Dolphins, number 7. My number 6 team, a trending team, the Detroit Lions. Now, Detroit has played some really good, consistent football on offense and defense. Detroit is my number 6 team. I love what they're doing in Detroit, the Lions, with Coach Campbell. Really good job out there, Detroit. Number 6 for me this week. My number 5 team, now, started off really great. Had 3 losses in a row. The San Francisco 49ers, my number 5 team, they got to pick it up now. Brock Purdy, let's go. You got to get back up there. You're still in my top 10. You had 5, San Francisco. My number 4 team this week is the Cincinnati Bengals. Played a big game this week versus Buffalo. Joe Burrow, he is a surgeon out there. This guy was smooth. I love Joe Burrow. You could bank on Joe Burrow. This guy is legit. Cincinnati is my number 4, and they're moving up the ladder. I really love what Cincinnati's doing. Number 3 team, old steady, only 1 loss, the Philadelphia Eagles. Listen, Jalen Hurts is a bona fide star. There's nothing average about him. He's a star. He's trending toward what? A superstar. Philadelphia, they really know what they're doing. They beat the Cowboys this week. Philadelphia is my number 3 team. The second best team in the NFL this week for me, nobody talked about them. The Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are good on defense. The Ravens are good on offense. Lamar is Lamar. He makes plays all over the field. Baltimore Ravens is my number 2 team. Boy, good things are happening in Baltimore. But they know what they're doing. That's the Ravens. They're number 2 this week. The number 1 team in the National Football League for me this week is the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, you just got to say 1 name. Everybody could do that. Patrick Mahomes, the best football player on earth. Okay? So when you have Pat Mahomes running your show and Andy Reid's doing a great job, I love what they're doing. Now, Kansas City has a great defense now. You got Patrick Mahomes with a great defense. Come on. And all right, that is my top 10. If you got a problem, put it in the chat. As we say in the NFL, National Football League, if you don't have good rookies, you don't have a future. Well, looked at 4 guys this week that really stood out in rookies. I'll start off with Keaton Mitchell. Keaton Mitchell, running back out of East Carolina. Now, the Baltimore Ravens are notorious for finding players that aren't drafted that turns into stars. Keaton Mitchell had 138 yards and a touchdown. Rookie from East Carolina. He tore it up. Keaton had a good week. Number 2 was Broderick Jones. Broderick Jones is a right tackle for Pittsburgh. Broderick Jones had a big game this week versus the Titans. He started at right tackle. You got to give the offensive lineman some love too. But big Broderick Jones out of Georgia had a great week blocking on the right side for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 3 and 4, they're together. Great combination. C.J. Stroud. Now, he could be arguably the best rookie quarterback to ever play in the National Football League. So far, with the stats he's putting up, he's the top quarterback who's ever played in the National Football League at that position. CJ, just crazy numbers. He had a winning drive. He threw for 470 yards. He had 5 touchdowns. But what I like about CJ, he's a magician, and he's smooth, and he's cool. He's cool. You just love to see him. Now, his buddy, Tank Dell, jumps in the picture this week. Tank Dell is his receiver out of the University of Houston. Little guy, 5'10", 170 plus pounds, but plays with a big heart, can catch the ball, can run. CJ Stroud and Tank Dell, that combination is going to be around for years to come. And that's my top rookies for this week. All right, guys, thanks for sending in great questions. We have more questions. Pam, come on in here and shoot these questions at us.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I am Pamela Lowery. And yes, we got some great questions. And thank you, Dominique from Tuscaloosa. Now, Lionel, you are an expert in this field. You've been a scout for more than 35 years. And with your research and knowledge right now, there's trending teams, but what trending team right now can shock the world in football?
Well, I tell you right now, they're trending in that this team has never really won, ever. And that is the Detroit Lions. They really are doing some great things on offense, defense, special teams. Coach Dan Campbell, they really got it going on. Detroit can really shock some people.
Okay, yeah. So, as you all know, in Vegas, you getting fired. Everybody was getting fired. So we had the Raiders head coach, he got fired, Josh McDaniels, and also the GM. So they got Antonio Pierce in now as the new coach. So what's that about? Especially when the coach, or I'm sorry, not the coach, but when the owner fires you mid-season, what is that?
Well, when the owner fires you mid-season, I mean, he says, I can't stomach this anymore. I want this person, I want these guys out of my house, out of my building. So he went in there and just said, get out of here. I don't want you here. Most of the time they wait until the end of the year to fire you. When they fire you in mid-season, it is bad.
It's bad.
So, and I like Josh. I've worked with him. But it just didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Look, you ain't got to go home, but you just can't stay here. Now, as we go into the Cowboys, you know, they had a loss to Philly. So can they stand after that?
I know the Cowboys fans, they're happy and optimistic, and they should be because they got a good football team. And you go to Philly and you almost win the game. You come down to your last drive. But you gotta win some of those games. You gotta win some of the tough games.
Yeah.
I looked at the schedule. All the Cowboys wins were versus bad football teams. Okay? You know.
No, you ain't talking about the Cowboys, are you?
I have mad respect for the Cowboys and Mr. Jerry Jones and those guys.
Yes.
I worked there.
Okay.
But you gotta win. You gotta beat some good football teams. You close but no cigars is not good. You got to beat good teams, and you almost win. I love to see the Cowboys beat a good team before they go to the playoffs.
So you're saying right now at this point, the Cowboys, they got a soft schedule. But
Yeah.
it's now it's time for you to play the big boys.
Yes, you're going to
Okay.
play some tougher teams down the stretch.
Okay.
Win some of those games, and you'll have confidence when you go into the playoffs. And Dak had a great game this week. Loved it.
Okay, so he did show Dak some love, America's team. Now, coming into the NFL, you got to start off in college. And in college, there's some great players, great games. So who's your front runner at this point as it relates to the Heisman Trophy?
Well, I keep looking every week, and Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback at the University of Washington, he's a highlight film. He's a highlight reel. This guy is great. He's prolific. He's a prolific passer. He throws the ball all over the field. I'd say Michael Penix Jr. going into this final stretch is the leader in that race.
Okay, Michael Penix, we got our eye on you. And if you have any questions each week, just send them to us or put them in the chat right here on Top 10.
Hey everybody, this is week 9. The season is more than halfway gone. If you got any questions, put it in the chat. But until next time, remember, everybody loves football.